Welcome to the Failed podcast. Once again, here we are. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We hope that you're enjoying everything that we're putting out there. We're trying to be positive. We're trying to just do right by you, and we're so thankful for everyone that's subscribing, everyone that's following us. We want to give a shout out to everyone who reposts our stuff or sends us DMs and says, guys, good job. I want to say thank you to my co-host Daniel. Flo, what's up? How are you? He's off camera. He doesn't have a camera on him again, but here he goes.
I'm doing great, man. Just excited to be here again. It's always a fun time. It's always something that I can, good conversation goes a long way no matter where it is. If it's on camera, off camera, but it's always fun to be here. I learn, I grow every time I'm here, so excited to be here again, man.
Well, thank you for running the board today. He'll be running our cameras. Guys, we have a great episode today. Obviously, if you're from Fort Worth, you might know who our guest is going to be, but if you're not, it doesn't matter. He still brings a lot of motivation and great stuff. He has an amazing life story. I had some moments with him at a previous event, and I've been watching him on his content. He's very open, very motivational, very consistent. Those are several things that I like in individuals. I think that's what helps us just be good role models, right? Help us be good people in this world whenever you can focus on something and stick with it. And I've been watching his stuff, and I kind of want to run. If you go follow him on Instagram at, it's Texas Mind, Body, and Spirit. If you follow him there on Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. But let me go ahead and bring in our guest today, David Armstrong.
Thank you for having me, man.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for coming in, dude. I'm so happy that you're here. We met about a week ago. Time is irrelevant on a podcast, but I'll be saying things like that. But we won't say actual days and times. But I met you about a week ago. We had a good conversation over some live music, and I just felt like we had a good vibe. And we did, you did an episode for the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Thank you, Andrew, for having me out there as your co-host. And we shared a few moments together. There wasn't enough time, if you ask me. I felt like there was a lot more of you to offer, and I got to see that through your Instagram. So go ahead, sum up what you're doing. And if you don't, which I'm bringing this energy because it's motivated by you, okay? You got great energy on social. You like, whoo, here I am, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, go, tell me what to do, my man. Tell me what, and I just want to lift weights and run. Tell me a little bit about how you have come with this energy all the time, and then you're just always doing, you're moving, and you're motivating.
Well, man, I mean, honestly, all I put on Instagram is just showing my lifestyle. I mean, I wake up at around 2:30 every morning, train, and try to motivate as many people as I possibly can.
Why you wake up so late?
1:30 is way
2:30
too
p.m.?
early, man.
2:30 p.m.?
No, we're talking about the other one.
My bad.
Yeah. When people are usually sleeping or going to sleep. So, yeah. But, no, man, I just wake up and I love to motivate people because, honestly, I've been through a lot in my life, and I just want to show that you can go through some rough things in your life,
yeah,
but you can get through them and you can live the best possible life you can after that.
Well, I'm watching you, and you come in on your workouts, and you do full body workouts with dumbbells and everything you do, and you kind of give us like an idea of how to do certain things. How do you walk in? Kind of explain your entrance. It's kind of intimidating. It's it reminds me of something. I don't know. I'm going to let you tell me a little bit about it.
The intro, the walk-in?
Yeah, the walk-ins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, that's just kind of grab everyone's attention. Honestly, it's I got the walk-in. It's the $1 billion man walk from Conor McGregor. I got that from him. And I say it's go time, woo, because, hold on. It's go time, woo! There we go. Had to say that. There we go. See, it feels good.
It ain't no joke.
That's a Ric Flair for you one time.
That's where I actually kind of got it from. Back in the day when I first started the Instagram, I had a character, and his name was Johnny, and Johnny was Ric Flair's son.
Yeah.
And I had a wig on and everything, so I would woo a lot. And it just kind of stuck. People just kind of started knowing me from wooing.
Yeah.
And I just kind of implemented it into everything I do. Like even when I'm running now, it's even crazy. Just it's kind of like animalistic. I'll just start wooing sometimes. It's just to get that energy out. You know, it just feels good. Yeah.
You say animalistic. Is there something to that? Because when you're out there running and you're like, and we're going to let y'all know, when I say running, I know we all think, oh, I like to run. This is beyond like. There's a point where you start kind of suffering and kind of beating yourself up because you're trying to overcome some stuff. And it seems like you tap into that because the last time I talked to you, you finished doing, and give me the right K. Was it 50K?
Yeah, it was a Trail Ultra 50K.
A Trail Ultra 50K. I don't know how many miles that is, but 31. If it was dollars, we wouldn't be mad. You know, that's a pretty good amount. And that was a beating.
Yeah.
You talked to me a little bit about how you ran it, how your legs felt, and that the challenges that it presented. Although that you're a seasoned runner, you have a lot of experience. You understand your body, your fitness, your like even just drinking water, your intake and stuff. But it still presented a lot of challenges, and you were able to overcome it. And it was a lot of work.
It was.
And it all comes from like, I know it's physical, but mentally.
That's what key.
Somehow you have prepared yourself for that. What are some of the things that you've been through? We're going to go ahead. We're going to jump back on how you became who you are. Like that wasn't always the guy.
No.
Where did you come from? What were some of your early experiences, life challenges that you went through that were supposed to keep you knocked down, but something flipped in your head and you started using it like to kind of motivate yourself? And we'll go from there.
Well, I mean, I've lived multiple lives, but
which one are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about how I got to this life, because that honestly started I've been back in for 5 years, so maybe 13 years ago, this version of me.
Got it.
So I went through some really troubling times, you know, living in multiple hoods and stuff like that. Went through everything that you can possibly imagine through those experiences. And honestly, man, I wouldn't wish any of the experiences that I went through in my life.
Yeah.
Because it was rough, man. But at the same time,
so scoot up a little bit for me.
At the same time, through those experiences, it made me into this person that I am. Because if I didn't go through those hard times, I would still be because I was a really angry person.
Talk to me about that.
I was, back in the day when I did backyard wrestling for 7 years, man, and my name was literally Rage because
backyard wrestling.
Oh yeah, man. I went through tables.
People do that to release, but you were kind of harnessing. You said you had a little bit of anger issues.
We were actually good at it. We were actually on VH1 and stuff. So,
dude, okay.
Yeah. But no, that was just like us and our friends, and we got pretty big back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I was going with that.
Well, just some challenging things you went through back in the day.
Yeah, I went through all that. Let's start with how I got there. So I went through all of the troubling times, like living in the hood, like not having food in my stomach and stuff like that.
Yeah. How old were you when you're saying that? Like
during that time?
Yeah, I didn't have food in my stomach.
20s. So yeah, after college. Yeah, me, my wife. It was just us two, and no one really knows the stuff that we went through because we kind of had to stay to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know? We didn't want people to know that because it was hard, man. I mean, like.
So was there people around y'all that they didn't even know that y'all were struggling?
My mom doesn't even know some of the worst stuff.
Yeah.
The worst stuff. Only people know what I tell them to know. What I tell them, and that's kind of how I like it because. Man, there's some crazy. I got some crazy stories.
Yeah. Well, share something with me that you're like, okay, I went through it. At the moment, I said, man, I'm never going to revisit it. I'm never going to reshare it. This is just negative, and I'm not going to grow from it. But somehow you're pulling some good energy from it now because you're either stronger, you're more resilient.
I would say the entire experience,
Yeah.
man, of about 6-7 years of all of that, man. And the craziest thing is, like, when you're going through those type of scenarios, you don't really know how bad it is until you're out of it. And then you have to look back and say, like, whoa, man, that was crazy. I should not be here right now. But you get through it because you're in that survival mode. So you just do what you got to do to get through and get to the next day.
Yeah.
And you just get through it, and then once you're out of it, you kind of have to assess. It took me like 2 years to even be able to think properly, because like I had PTSD when I came back.
Yeah.
Like I felt weird when I was in Walmart.
Really?
Like, I felt like people were like watching me.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you were broken back then? Like before you started this recovery, this journey to, doing what you do now, when did you ever feel that? And I'm asking for people who are watching and they literally feel broken right now because they're starving, because they have PTSD. But how was that? How have you approached it or faced it?
I wouldn't say necessarily broken, because I wouldn't allow myself. I just didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I was lost. Let's go with that. I didn't know, because all these thoughts and ideas that I had as a child, it never worked out. And then I was living in this environment where I had to take a gun out just to walk my dog, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad.
Yeah.
So I had to like keep my head on a swivel, and then I get out of that, and now I'm like in suburbia. It's like, whoa, this is like completely different, man.
Yeah.
This is wild. And so it took time, but it took me time. I looked within. That's what I did. I did research on how to stay positive, how to meditate, how to do yoga. I do yoga 3 times a day. I do breath work.
Whenever you found yourself like with no food, starving, were you doing meditation and yoga back then?
God, no, I didn't. I would have thought that was.
What were some of the lessons that you can look back at that you learned from those times?
Don't blow up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. The biggest thing I've ever learned was everything is temporary. Like even if you're going through a bad situation, you don't have food, it's not gonna last forever, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're going through this crap that you don't want to go through, but if you just stop and just stop the anger, stop the sorrow, and just keep pushing forward, you'll realize that this is gonna fade eventually. If you and stay positive, because if you're positive, honestly, more positive experiences are coming in your life. But back then when I was going through it, man, I couldn't be positive because there was nothing positive for me to look for. I mean, I'm living in the hood.
Yeah.
I mean, my ex-wife was an alcoholic. I had to deal with that on a daily. And I was unemployed for a little while as well.
Yeah.
And man, I remember, saving up money and going to a Taco Bell, a $1 menu. That place saved my life multiple times, man. They don't even have that anymore, I don't think.
They don't have it.
I know, it's long gone. The $1 menu. There's a thing that kind of bothers me, and I'm not saying that none of us do it or anyone watching, but I read about it. But there's people, for instance, that will criticize certain foods at certain cost. They'll be like, man, that's nasty, or man, that's gross. And it never sits well with me, because for a set of people in our communities, it could be friends and family, are needing that. And it kind of helps us get through tough times. And like you just kind of said it, you're like, man, the $1 menu saved me. And I've been there too. So when you think about all the great food that maybe you enjoy now, how do you look at food differently whenever you're eating it? Do you use that time so that you can appreciate this time more? What are some funny, some great memories from, those meals back then?
Oh yeah, man. I always, if I'm like eating like a good meal, man, and if I had like a couple friends around me, I'd be like, man, I remember back in the day, I would save up a couple dollars and go to Taco Bell. Man, I would live like a king, man. $5. You know how much food I could get with that? Yeah. And then go home and eat it all up, and then drink a whole bunch of water and swell your stomach up. And it'll be good for like a day. and you'll be fine, man. But now it's like, and I cherish those times where I actually can eat good. Like, I can eat what I actually want to eat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm super strict on my diet, but today is actually my cheat meal, so I'm eating whatever I want after this. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what's up. I already got donuts at the house and everything. So yeah.
So you're going through a tough time. You're living in a dangerous area.
Yeah.
When do you start coming out of it? Like, what happens in your life that you're like, man, things are shifting? You went from one type of neighborhood to the other. Is there something that you changed about yourself, or was it just like, man, this job came up, this opportunity? What happened?
Yeah, I know.
Was there a marker?
Yeah, I know exactly what happened. So after a 3-day fight with my ex-wife, it took a couple friends, because we were in Arizona, man. Like, we were in Mesa, living out there and we were by ourselves. So it took a good friend of mine and a family member to convince me to finally leave, because it was either if I didn't leave that day, I would probably have ended up in jail, honestly, because the cops already came the day before, because someone called. It wasn't us, and that's pretty bad in the environment we were living in if someone calls. And it took three days of just constantly fighting, and I finally just said, okay, I'm gonna leave, and I waited for her to pass out, and I knew I had like about an hour, so I grabbed my animals and I grabbed as much stuff as I could get into my Mustang, and drove all the way from Arizona back to Fort Worth, all in the same day. Sometimes
the guy has to leave.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you bring it up from that perspective, because we normally don't hear that. Mm-hmm. What did your friends do right to reach out to you, to kind of just like wake you up? Because let's just say some of us are in that situation. We don't know how to approach it. Sometimes we're just scared. I don't want to offend my friend, but you just know inside when it's necessary. Like, somebody needs to save a friend. What did your friends do right that gave you a wake-up call?
I think it wasn't what they said, because the two people that really convinced me, how can I say this? I wasn't really like cool with them, like, and if they could see what I'm going through, it's just like, man, yeah, the things are bad.
Yeah.
If they can see this, and I don't really like rock with them, and they're telling me this, it's like, yeah, I should probably like leave. Yeah. After that, if everything they're saying, it's time to dip.
Yeah.
And yeah, but let me put this out there before, because I can't tell my story without talking about my ex-wife, and I just want to say this: I don't have anything against her. She's sober now. She has kids and everything, so I have no ill will or anything like that. So this is just telling my story. I just need to put that out there.
That's great.
Because, no ill will. I even said I forgive you and everything.
Yeah.
But
that's important as well.
I have to put that out there before we continue.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So then they did or said something that snapped that your head. You're like, man, this must be bad if someone doesn't even know me can see it. And you have to bring yourself to make a change, okay? Yeah. And I'm going to preface it by saying this. People have a hard time making a change for the positive, right? Like creating good habits and stuff. It doesn't even click for them. But you had to make this based on coming from a very traumatic situation. And then you pack up your stuff and you get in the car, and it's almost like that silence after a big bang. And you're just like, what is going on? You finally are able to breathe. Yeah. I don't know, where did you go? Where were you heading? And what was that time alone like? What were you thinking? How were you planning for your week, month, or your future? What was happening at that point?
Honestly, what helped me out is I had to drive through the night. And if you've ever driven through the night in Arizona, it's pitch black dark.
Yeah.
So I was focusing on the task at hand. I had to make it very simplistic. It's like, okay, we made this decision to leave. I got 2 animals. I got a dog and a cat in my car, and a Mustang. I got to make sure that I get from here back to Fort Worth all without stopping, and just make it. And so the thought process was, I just gotta stick to the task at hand, because if I allow my mind to drift off to what's going on back there, I might turn around.
Yeah.
And I can't allow that to happen. So I have to focus on what the task is at hand, and that was to move forward and not backwards. And that's honestly one of my mantras, excuse me. Move forward. You can look in the past for your lessons, but don't go back there.
Yeah.
Keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I had to do. I just had to say, man, because she was blowing up my phone like crazy, man. Like crazy. And I was like, man, I can't answer that because she got that gift of gab. I can't go back, man. I can't.
Okay, so you're heading back.
Yeah.
And you're close to Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Your new life is waiting here, and you wouldn't really know what was coming, but what were some of the first things that started happening where you kind of saw the light, or you said, man, I'm glad I did this. There's some good things coming. Was there some friends that you connected? How were you connecting with your old stomping grounds that you recall? Was there challenges and failures that happened?
Yeah, I mean, there still is challenges. I mean, I'm still trying to get back to where I was, but that's a different story. When I first got back, I had a lot of friends get around me, man. A lot. But honestly, that eventually starts to dissipate, and eventually you're going to be there by yourself, and you're going to be there with your own thoughts, and then you got to figure out how you're going to survive. And so that's why I did all the research. It's like, okay, I don't want to ever feel the way that I did in the past. How can I be in a better mindset? Because I knew mindset was key.
Yeah.
So I did the research, and I did a lot of books on positivity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put my mind back into that negative state. So a lot of research, but I did have a lot of friends come the first couple of weeks and console me, like. But when I first got into Fort Worth, man, it was just like, oof, I'm back. I cannot believe that I just drove all that way, and I made it, and I didn't really know what to expect because, dude, I lost everything. I'm still trying to get everything back. Like, I lost everything.
So you came and you were at zero.
Everything I put in my car, that was it.
That's tough. That's a tough start.
Still, I mean, I've had more than that, but yeah, that was it, man. That was it. And I lost literally everything. So yeah.
Okay. I get man, dude. Like, I met you. We shared a few things. I asked you kind of some deep questions. You were very open with me, but I got good vibes. Okay, people go through a test like you, and they come out bitter. Like a lot of people, they're just angry. Because they have plenty of, even though if they're real or not, they have plenty of things that they can blame. The ex-wife. I didn't have nothing. It's because I grew up here, and they just keep repeating it in their language and vocabulary. And I know you're sharing it, but that does not define you. You're sharing it because we're doing an interview. But I'm asking, like, how did this guy, this like, this Armstrong dude, the dude that I'm watching, work out. When was he starting to be born or be made?
I know exactly at what point. It was probably
the woo man.
It was probably about a month after I got back, and I was in the bathroom, I think, like washing my hands or something like that, and I was thinking to myself, and I was like, it's time to turn it around. It's time to change. And I was like, man, I don't want to feel this way, because when I got back, man, like back when I was in Arizona, I weighed 220, and when I got back, I was 180, And I was like overweight. I wasn't happy. I was dealing with all this crap.
220, but how tall are you? That'll help people be like, whoa.
I'm only 5'9".
5'9", 220.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I was still lifting, but I was big.
Yeah. What was it from? What was that weight? Was it
eating?
Okay.
Oh my God. I mean, shoot, man, eating Taco Bell, that's gonna happen. Wait, I want to take it. Eating Taco Bell and QT hot dogs, that'll make you big,
catch
man.
up to you.
Hey, but it's all good.
Okay, so you're at 220.
Yeah, but I was washing my hands, right? So I literally remember the conversation. I had a conversation with myself. Like, I don't want to be like this anymore.
Yeah.
I need to look into how I can be a better person, and how I can stop feeling like this, and like how I can start going into public and not having like my head on a swivel, like thinking like somebody's trying to run up on me and I'm gonna have to handle the situation, you know?
Yeah.
So I just didn't want those feelings anymore, and I had to look within, and I told myself, all right, man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and it just started from there, and I haven't looked back.
What was the first thing that you started doing? Was it going to the gym, working out, or was it running? When did they come at the same time? How did those enter your life? Because the running, well, I want to get into the running one, but which one happened first?
It was, I've been lifting since I was 13, but nothing like this. So it was probably, I remember even when I was told myself about the Instagram page, man, I was walking into the gym and I actually literally said a prayer. And I was like, God, please help me get to the next level.
And he said, start an Instagram.
Well, he said,
I'm joking.
No, I had the idea about the Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, if you bless me to let this be successful, I won't ever stop, and I'll try to help as many people as I possibly can. And I remember literally walking into the 24-hour fitness that used to be on Hewlin Street. That's not there anymore.
Yeah, they tore the building down, matter of fact.
Yeah, for
They
real.
tore the building down?
It's gone. It's a field now, man.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
It was a staple. It really was. A lot of
Yeah.
people went there. I was around when they made it, and it was like when it was pristine. So yeah,
That was just,
interesting that we have a connection.
I
there.
lived right next door to it, man.
Really
For a little bit,
My
yeah.
mom, she's obviously an older lady, but she that's where she worked out.
Oh, for real?
For years, and so she knew all the other older people,
Yeah.
and she would go swimming, and so I have a connection.
It
to
was a vibe,
It,
man,
it helped my
yeah.
mom out a lot.
It was a vibe. A lot of people are so sad about that.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. I didn't know that.
yeah, man, that was a great gym. But yeah, I was walking into that, had that conversation, and the running didn't come until later, honestly, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been doing this crazy running stuff maybe 3 or 4 years. So yeah.
You mentioned self-talk.
Mhm.
I imagine you do it often.
Mm-hmm.
You have to motivate. When you run, and I get this because I watched Forrest Gump and during his running thing, you just got to talk to yourself. It gets lonely out there. What are some tips about self-talk that you practice that are necessary for you on your long runs, when you're doing your thing, motivating yourself to just do what you're doing?
Yeah, you just gotta be positive with yourself, man, because I mean, especially when you get up there in like those 20 miles or something like that, and you're dying and your legs are starting to break and you don't want to do it anymore. You just gotta tell yourself, hey, you just gotta keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Because one of my mottos is the body will quit you first, but the mind won't. And if you can control the mind, you can control the body. And I can control the mind. I will not allow myself to stop. I have to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm going to do this. Because once I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
There's no stopping. There's no whining. There's no crying. None of that. I'm going to do it regardless. I'm positive about it because it's only me. Why would I be negative to myself?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, you got this. You've been here before. What are you doing? Turn some aggressive music on. Just run faster.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But it's more of a mindset thing. It's like, man, you got to be kind to yourself. It's like, because you can do it. Just put one foot in front of the other. Don't stop. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to stop. Yeah, you can walk, but don't stop. Keep going forward.
During that transition, when you're going from 220 and where you at now?
155.
155, and you're just losing weight and you're starting to see results. when did it say this is it? Like, I'm gonna see where I can take this. Because you could have just said, man, I just want to be like buff, you know, and you wouldn't have did running but what happened? Because you chose you want to be active, but you still want to weight lift. You know, you're doing a little bit of everything.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, when did you choose that you were going to run and not just do weights because you started losing?
Okay, so that was when I got really, really serious with running. That was right when COVID hit, man. All the gyms closed down, and my dad, he used to be a runner. I think he might be a runner still. Okay, let's just say he used to be a runner. He used to be a runner. I had a friend also in England who is a runner as well, and I would always see him running, my friend running in England, climbing these mountains and everything. And I was like, man, I still need to do cardio to keep this shape. What can I do? And I was like, well, let's go running. I mean, my dad used to do it. My friend, he does it all the time. It looks like fun. And then I just kind of picked it up from there. And then it was just a slow progression from doing, 5Ks to 10Ks to half marathons to full marathons to ultras. Yeah. And it's just a slow progression.
How many marathons or 5Ks, do you have an idea how many you've done? Have you ever tried to tally up all the miles you've ran in what time frame?
No, man. I got so many medals at home.
I'm going to leave you with that homework. It'd be cool to see that on your social.
I can count them all when I get to the house.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I would say...
Like marathons.
Marathons?
Yeah, let's just...
I can go marathons. Marathons probably about... for races or for myself? Because I can run a marathon whenever.
I know. It's like... I did one this morning.
I mean, I'm doing 20
races,
tomorrow.
Right.
Races probably about 5, 6, something like that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the preparations to get to that, I'm running marathons. Yeah. So, it kind of blends together. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Like, even running the ultra, I ran an ultra just to train for it. Like, I ran 3 or 4 of them just to...
So you show up, you're like, I did it already, but I'm going to do it today.
Yeah. I want the medal. That's what that comes down to.
So you mentioned your dad used to run, and he might still run today. What was your relationship like with your folks growing up during the Arizona transition?
Growing up, it was pretty much just me and my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad wasn't really... I mean, he was there, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some life lessons that your mom either gave you directly or that you just got from doing life with her?
From her, I mean, she taught me pretty much everything, man. Yeah. She was pretty much like the mom and the dad. So she taught me the work ethic probably the most. I mean, she's still working, and she's in her 70s. Yeah. She just grinds it out, man. She, day in, day out. But she loves what she does. That's the thing. I'm very grateful for her, honestly. And she taught me a lot. Just don't give up on yourself. Because, like I said, you can do it, man. Yeah. Just don't give up. You got to keep going. It's hard, but you can make it happen.
Now, my bad, Sam. I want to go back a little bit. You mentioned reading earlier about like some books and self-help books or whatever. Is there any books that stand out to you that just like maybe 1 or 2 that stand out that maybe had a change for you or started that change?
I got one. It's gonna sound corny because everyone knows it. The Secret. That's an amazing book, man. I mean, amazing book. Yeah. I learned so much from manifestation and that and stuff like that. The author Bob Proctor, he just passed away about a year ago too. All of his books are amazing about manifesting what you want in life. Yeah. I learned a lot from both of them.
It's so crazy. The Secret did something when it came out.
Book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you read it, Daniel?
I never read it, but I watched the documentary.
It's a great documentary too, man. Yeah. I mean,
seen that several times.
They have another one too.
Same author?
Same author. They actually have 2 other ones. I've read both of those too.
It's like The Secret and then the big secret.
it's actually, I think it's something like that, but I can't remember.
It'll work.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, those two, man, you just gotta do the research. The manifestation thing, like that was so powerful. When I first read that, I was like, this doesn't work. And then I tried it and I was like,
it seems silly.
Yeah, it does.
But guess what?
It works.
I do it.
Bro?
I do it with my family. I say, let's imagine. Let's just pause. I just want to kind of put this out there in the universe, and I'll tell them. And I know I'm drawing the picture in their head, and I'm drawing the picture in my wife's head, and then I just say it, and it's like it has to do with goals. It has to do with me being on stage or whatever, and I just do it, and then I say, okay, let's get back to it. But I'm trying to manifest it, and then I find myself in it, and it's happened already several times, and I'm like, I wasn't here, but I was here.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. And because I knew I started shifting my energy in that direction. So that's, if you had to write a book, and it was just like a few chapters, what are some chapters that you would include in there that came from your life, like maybe up to this point?
A few chapters of my life?
Or chapters in the book that you would be like,
from drawing something like from you, what you just said. So like from the manifestation thing.
Yeah.
So like the way that I like to think of it is like you plant a seed in your head.
Yeah.
Like a tree. You're planting a tree seed in your head, and each and every day you have to water that tree. But in the forms of watering, you're continuously thinking about that and thinking about that, and you're essentially, that's how you manifest. Is like let's say, I want a better job or something like that. Yeah. And you're constantly thinking about that. I want a better job. I want a better job. I'm grateful for the job I have, but I'm more grateful for the job that I will have. And you keep watering the plant and watering the plant and watering the plant until you see it eventually sprouts and it develops into a magnificent tree. And you're just constantly just thinking about that aspect until it actually happens. So does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay, cool. So I would say a lot of that, just plant the seed in your brain, continuously think about it, and eventually something's going to break, and something, you're going to be blessed with something. And once you are, though, just stay on the path, man. Don't deviate. Just keep thinking that what you want, and it will happen.
Well, I would say, tell me what you think of this. You like with the seed analogy, when you the seed is the thought,
yeah,
and the water it is that thought. The water is the action.
Exactly.
The water is the work that it takes for that to manifest that, to bring that, because the idea is like, y'all correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to manifestation, is the idea is the thought turns into action.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly right. Yeah. Your mind is a very powerful thing. So what you think will become a reality. Yeah.
What is a tree? What's that you can remember? I planted the seed that day I washed my hands, the day I got in the car. Or what's something that you say, man, I remember when it was a seed, and today it's an oak tree?
Probably the Instagram thing, man. Honestly, I didn't think that was gonna blow up like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted it to.
Yeah.
I literally said a prayer for it, and then I guess this would be the seed when I was doing that prayer. Mm-hmm. And then I continuously thought about that, and then made the strives to make it happen, because I was thinking about it all the time. So I took the proper steps in order for it to be successful, and it eventually was like a natural progression into what it is today.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So his Instagram is Texas Mind, Body, and Spirit on Instagram, and I'm looking at it right now. 19,000+ followers, 10,000+ posts. Dude, you are doing it. Like, if you use the word consistency, I can just go in here and be like, he ain't playing, right? And everyone is like, you're working out. And I saw the other day, and it was so cool, because you told me, yeah, I kind of live my runs, and I was like, what? And then it was like, I don't know how, whatever. So I saw you running. Daniel, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but he ran the other day, and he starts early in the morning, so you can't see nothing. But you can kind of see his beard and stuff. And then you're on this run, and I can just see you going mile after mile after mile, and you come across a skunk, Mr. Skunk, and you smell him. So he's running, and then you just see, he smells it. David smells it. He's like, he's around here. Mm-hmm. He's around. And trust me, I sound just like the way I do a good imitation of you. And he's like, he's right here. Where you at? Where you at?
Yep.
And the doggone skunk comes out. He called it, and I'm watching, and camera's running live. He records it, and the skunk runs across, and he goes towards the river. He's like, "Get out of here, skunk, Mr. Skunk, get out of here!" And you have this experience with you have like this firsthand relationship with nature, and we all. I'm hearing the phrase of like, touch some dirt, like connect yourself to the ground, and people don't realize the energy that comes whenever you're outside, when you're breathing the air. What is your relationship with the runs, with the air, with nature, that maybe a lot of us don't experience because we don't do it like daily or weekly like you?
Being on the trails, man, that's my sanctuary, honestly. I wake up super, super early, like I said, 2:30 in the morning. I'm out there. And I love it, man. When I'm out there, when I take my first step out of the car, super quiet, like super quiet. The city's still the city is still sleeping.
Yep.
It's just me, the birds chirping in the background, and it's just super, super peaceful. And and I do this walk to the trail, and the closer and closer I get to my start line, the more and more amped up I get. And eventually, when I'm on the trail itself, there's this peace comes over me, and then eventually that peace turns into an animalistic factor, because I'm out there by myself, man. Like you said, I'm with my arch enemy, Mr. Skunk, out there. I'm literally chasing deer out there all the time. I can't wait for tomorrow. And you have to be animalistic, and it enters into you, but it's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, I see some of the most beautiful sights that I've ever seen in my life out there. I see some things that people in Fort Worth never even see. Did you know we have bobcats here?
I do, but I've been outside a little bit.
Well,
but most people wouldn't believe it. You have to kind of get out of the city limits to see them.
These on the trails.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're out
scary.
there. Yeah, they are. But and just so much peace on being in nature. It's just. It's hard to explain until you're out there, and just so much peace comes into you. Through all that, I can turn all the music off, and I can just take in what nature is actually bringing to me, and it just makes the hard day if I had a hard day, it just makes it dissipate. Yeah. And I'm just focused on what I'm seeing, what I'm doing, how I'm breathing, wooing like crazy, just because it's just like something just comes over you, takes over your body, and it's just like, it's beautiful.
So you have mind, body, and spirit on here. You're obviously channeling and connecting in these three forms. And the earth is kind of giving you things. Your past has given you things. The trauma you've overcome. You work out, you eat. You're taking in. But having the following that you have on social media and all the people who are encouraged by what you do, what are some things that you're like putting out? What do you want us to take from us watching? Now, I know what I take from seeing you, but I'm just curious, what's your motivation for motivating?
I want everyone, because the reason I even started that Instagram is because I've been through so much in my life.
Yeah.
And if I can get through all that crap and I can be this positive, you can be this positive, because there ain't nothing bad that I haven't been through. I guarantee you that, except for jail. Sorry.
That's fake wood. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Hey, man, don't say that. Give me some real wood.
It'll work.
Oh, knock on my head. But if I can get through all that, man, there's no excuse for you not to be positive.
Yeah.
I mean, I struggle sometimes still, but you know what? That's life sometimes. Like I said, nothing is going to last forever. And you just got to be positive, man. You just have to be positive even when you don't want to. Even when we're in a negative situation, there is always something positive within that. And if you can hone on that, then your life will be greatly better from it, because positivity will always attract more positivity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's next for you? What are you trying to manifest? What's the seed right now?
Right now, literally 2 days ago, I made the executive decision I'm going to start a YouTube page for my running. So that's the next step.
I'm looking forward to it.
So, I mean, it's just going to be what I do on my Sunday runs already.
Yeah.
And it's just going to transition.
I feel bad for that videographer.
Well,
no, I'm joking.
It's probably going to be me.
I know.
So, yeah, I feel bad for me. But,
how do you navigate that though? If you're live in your run, like if you're filming your runs, while you're the one doing it, how do you navigate that? It's probably more of a technical.
I have all my
question,
gear on me, so I got you. Camera or a phone, light, and you just have to pull it out every time. You have to. That's what a lot of people don't see, because you gotta make sure it's not blurry and all that, because you're constantly sweating and all that. So you gotta make sure the lens is all clean, and then you can pull out everything, and then you can record. Make sure my breath is okay, because I'm not like gasping for air.
Yeah.
But it's not as challenging as you would think. It's just I like pinpoint, like, honestly, when there's exciting things that pops up, like if a deer pops up or something like that, I got to get that on camera. Or if I see a magnificent view, like a sunrise or something like that, I'm definitely going to get that on view. And I'll even run out just to get that view or get that shot, so other people can see it, because, you know, I enjoy it. I know for a fact other people will enjoy it. So that's why I want to capture it for them, because I'm already experienced it. I mean, I'm there.
Yeah.
I want other people to see it, you know?
Yeah, I think I saw you post some previous runs, like some photos that you've taken. I was like, man, those are pretty epic.
Yeah.
Just got to be there.
I actually sell some of the prints too.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, I like that. So they can find all of that on your Instagram. First of all, let me say, Daniel, final thought or words for our special guest before I close it up.
No, man, I think it was great. Like it's sometimes I just feel like a fly on the wall here. So it's like I'm like trying to find my way in, but at the same time, it's getting wrapped up in the conversation. So I run a little bit, nothing like that. So that's why I even asked that question kind of for myself, because like I know times I've had my phone, I'm like, man, this even just listening to music and trying to navigate that while running. It can get difficult sometimes for me. So, but no, it was a great conversation, man. Like, I'm gonna have to follow you, and I've been off Instagram, I've been off of socials for a little bit, just taking a break. But I'm gonna have to get back on there and
get back on.
Yeah,
I need your help promoting.
Let's go run too.
Can't do 20, I tell you that.
We'll start light. We'll be all right.
Is there anything you would like to plug, or any final thoughts that you want to leave?
Nothing to plug, man, but just for everybody out there who's struggling, like I said, man, just keep pushing forward. It's not going to last forever. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and eventually the hard times will start to dissipate. I know right now it seems like that's not going to happen. And but you can't allow yourself to think that way. Just think in a positive aspect. Keep pushing forward, and don't let anything stop you, man, because you deserve a great life, and eventually you will get there. It may take a little bit more time that you initially thought it was going to, but don't give up on yourself, because you're going to get there. That's it.
Well, David, we want to say thank you for coming on. David, thank you so much for coming on the FloresHip podcast. I had a great conversation with you. Thank you for being open with us. If you enjoyed anything that David said, you can follow him on Instagram. And trust me when I tell you this, he's always got something new on. His stories are very active. His daily routines in life, he's very open with it. He's doing several things in the city, and he's obviously running and encouraging you if you need just help with workouts at home. Like, he even uses equipment that anyone can have at home. He doesn't make it difficult. Even though he's at the gym, it's a few things you can do in your own space. And so I kind of like that about your page as well. So I'll have everything in the description below. You just got to click on the link and you'll be able to give him a follow. I enjoyed the conversation. I learned a lot, man. And go ahead, pan it out on both of us, Daniel. To close out, okay, David, I need you can move it away from you, but do the woo, and then I'm going to close it out.
Let me say go time.
Yeah.
It's go time.
And that yeah. I forgot that part was coming. Take that. Get out, do something. Get out and run. Don't quit. There you go. That's the whole thing. If failure happens, don't quit. Keep going. Learn from it. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Woo!